It's Disney. And in the meantime, I'm like, Jimmy, just This probably we already went because like apparently there's going to be people that have a different opinion of what other people is charged. And then I just get these some numbers that was speak to. And they still did it.
They do. You're running around. Let's stop. Say it out.
If I see anybody. Say something.
Then they told us. So they did all that, we got to see it. That would be
I don't even drink that.
Yeah, me too. Did you get it empty?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Oh, we have. Right. I have one. Glasses. Jimmy needs to. Yeah. We don't want to find it. That's gonna make it so nice. We got this second time. Well, yeah. They didn't take anything. So. That work, you know. They were there in one spot and they said. Hey, what's your phone? I'm like, great. Yeah, I thought you could figure out the thing. That's what I really afraid. Then you possibly. Yeah, I'll charge your contact. Okay, this is my. This is it. Oh, that one is. That's everything. I just.
Oh, yeah, oh, that, oh. That's what I talked about. Oh, yeah. It's just going to water bump. All going to reach 2 days. I know.
Stanley's gonna watch it. and see
You're
it.
talking. All I know is.
Anybody else?
I didn't. And when they say-
Lots. Especially the hair. I think they do. Outside of the water. I just wish that. You see what the- So it's just. Our neighbors, you know, doesn't do that. So I'm gonna miss them in the plant. Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So go on. Your what? No. It's not a password, it's an invitation. I think it's too late. Yeah, I don't. No, she's gonna have to watch it on YouTube. She can go. Start down the cards. Okay. But I don't think come up with today's date. Remember, you said the day.
So.
Sit like you did that. No, that's not. Your mom back in.
I'm sure they broke out. Yeah. No, Jack.
We had chased him for him, but we did it.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you.
Somebody read one? You got one, I don't. $6. The bell tolls.
All right, let's start the meeting. Do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. Well, did everyone get a chance to review the minutes from the September 12th meeting? Yes. Any corrections? Additions? There a motion to accept those minutes?
I'll make the motion to accept the minutes from the September 12 meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And did everyone get a look at the minutes from the September 26th, 2023 special meeting? Any corrections or additions? Their motion to accept those minutes?
I make a motion to accept the minutes of the September 26th special session.
Second,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next item on the list is the discussion of proposed changes to the 2024 seasonal camper lease agreement and weekend camp. The board had a meeting on the 26th, and it was a special meeting, and we discussed raising rates in various areas for the new lease for the upcoming year. We agreed to increase the seasonal rate from $2,300 to $3,000.
Yeah, okay.
Based on, what is that based on?
It's based on the expenses we've had and improvements to the campground. It's going to continue to improve the campground. And we've checked with other campsites and other areas, and we feel like that's fair fee.
It's also to measure the inflation from the last 2 years since the last raise. The inflation in the last 2 years is 12% in 2 years. It's also NIPSCO is raising their rates 10%. There's also been improvements made, and it's like you said, in line with the other ones. And there's also was an increase in the internet price.
What internet?
Insurance or bill is going up 25% next year.
And insurance is going up 25%.
Right, and I think one of the other things too is the infrastructure costs that we've had to put in with the different things at the campground. And looking forward, I mean, we've been putting Band-Aids on things, and we want to be able to get to a point where we can actually look at improvements beyond just keeping track or keeping day-to-day operations going.
Could you give me that rate again, please? The what? That rate again that you want to increase it
3,000.
up to 3,000? Yes.
It will be 3,000.
It will be 3,000.
Late payment fee would be $25 per day. Winter camper storage would be $350.
And that's up from 300 currently. Right?
Yeah. We want all personal property removed from the sites with the exception of permanent carpets, decks, gazebos, stairs, wood piles, approved storage sheds, landscape blocks, rocks, and wood or composites. So, mainly small items, decorations. We're going to offer back storage. Campers may pay a fee of $100 per season to store a golf cart or a jet ski in the back area of the campground. But we don't want anything else stored back there except those items. We're asking to prohibit outside refrigerators or freezers.
For storage or?
No, we're asking people not to have outside refrigerators and freezers. We're allowing the addition of one golf cart along with one licensed motor vehicle on site. Beach access. Campers and guests must show a valid seasonal pass to enter the beach. Without one, the gate fee will be charged. We recommend that each camper install a pressure reduction regulator on the water valve and a surge protector for the electric. Just a recommendation, strong recommendation. Internet usage, free Wi-Fi is available at no charge. It is not, will be guaranteed for gaming, streaming movies, any streaming service, etc. If dependent on these services, it is recommended you acquire your own service. Violators will be removed or slowed down from the Wi-Fi usage. Notice of vacating. The campers are responsible to notify the park department by February 1st of the coming year, if not including to renew. Dumping grass clippings, leaves, ashes, etc. are only permitted in the back burn area. No dumping of these items permitted on the perimeter of the wooded area. Non-seasonal rates. Water and electric campsites from $45 to $50 per night, $55 on holiday and event 3-night minimum. from $270 to $300 per week, and from $450 to $900 per month. Tent sites will go from $20 to $25 per night for permanent sites, plus $5 for holidays and events. $25 to $30 per night with electric, plus $5 for holidays and events, 3 night minimums. Okay, I think that's all the changes we have. Yes, ma'am.
Could you just give us a breakdown of the changes that you did this year and what changes you're foreseeing to come next year?
Changes we did, you mean the price changes we did this year?
It was we increased the price because of the things that have been done so far.
The
Could
improvements.
you just let us know kind of what those were?
Sure. Who wants to talk about those?
Well, 30,000 was paid for the lift station. It puts a new lift station in. Tracy, do you have any others?
Driveway.
Driveway?
Did we pay some of the roads out
We got
there?
roads,
We
got new
cut-
trash cans, we got new drills.
we
We've
trimmed
been
the
able to
tree.
maintain, keeping the grounds up, which was huge that we were unable to do with a lot of help from some friends. But our operational costs have gone up so tremendously that we would have done more had we had more money in our budget to do it this year. We need to be able to do more things, but we cannot do it without any funds to do it well.
We're basically breaking even just to what we can do.
Right, and not being able to prepare for longer, bigger items that are gonna, without a doubt, are gonna come.
One of the bigger
At some point.
things for next year will be the sand to be removed and get new sand on the beach. It just wasn't feasible this year.
We promised that for the last 4 years.
Yeah, well, we're gonna do it.
We want to charge for years.
Keep Perry. Question, yeah, on the seasonal pass for the beach for next year, is there a cost to us for that?
No,
No.
not at all.
Is there a cost to our
Yeah.
family if they're out there?
If they're with you and they come across with you, they're your guests
Okay,
and they don't have to pay.
okay,
But you can't just have them say, I'm with so-and-so, you know, they have to either be with you or they have to have a season pass or you have to show your pass.
Is there an increase in the pier slips?
That hasn't been discussed this year. I don't think there will be.
And we should get the pier slips in early next year. Because
Yeah, with all the issues we've had with those, it was,
Yeah.
I think, just trying to get them in on time is now.
we got all commits. We should, he was first.
Yeah, is the cost, I understand costs gotta go up. And the improvements that you guys have made, been really good. What is the cost to the county or the park board of each one of those improvements? So in other words, you put it in a road, was that a cost to the park board? Because it was a cost to the county that the county highway department did it. I don't know exactly what the monetary amount is. That would have to be up to the county highway superintendent. I don't know, but it was a cost to the county. Okay.
Well, and then the lift station was over, it
30,000.
was over 30,000, and this,
The lift
this-
station,
how about
not
this-
even done.
The grill. You mentioned the grills, they cost that is justified as. What was the cost of the grills?
The grills and the trash cans together were 6,000 or 7,000, I believe.
There was no grant for that.
There was a
It came
grant
out
for
of-
those, but
Right.
there are also improvements and there was a lot of work involved in
I
getting all of
didn't
that.
agree. That was a grant?
Yes,
Okay, so they didn't cost.
Well, here's the other thing.
employees' time.
I'm just trying to
Yeah,
understand.
I understand. None of us here make any money.
I understand now.
So when we say we need to raise the rates and everything, it's to make more improvements. It's to make things better. And that's what we intend to do. This money will go back to the campers and the people who use the beach. That's what this is all about.
Okay.
To give you an idea of where we are right now today. We have enough money in our account, only enough money to pay the superintendent. And pay a few bills. We don't have any more money until money starts to come in next season. There's no more money in the bank. That's it. We're broke.
You're next.
I personally watched this board approve $25,000 worth of piers that were burned. There was another $7,000 spent to pump crap out of there because the lift station wasn't fixed timely. I don't think this is fair to us at all.
Yeah, well,
I'm
fix it.
sorry you feel.
I personally called somebody on the board and had told them if nothing else got repaired in there, it wasn't if that pump was gonna go out, it was when. And that was, when did you take the park over? 2.5 years ago?
Something like that.
Well, and part of the reason is be able to fix things in a timely manner and not have to Band-Aid it. I mean, that was a significant
That was a
expense to do.
significant Band-Aid, $7,000.
Well, no, and that's what I'm saying, to have that area pumped out was a
And
fee that we would like to try to avoid in the future.
Part of that was we had to wait, get the bids approved, and then,
No.
wait, let me finish, please. The holdup was trying to wait for the motherboard to come from Germany,
That's another Band-Aid.
but we had no choice because we
2.5
couldn't create.
years?
Well,
2.5
you can't,
years?
we started, and I personally started this in mid-season last year with Randy. And he can attest to that. You can't hold us responsible for it. Prior to that, we at least got the ball rolling and tried to get the money from the council to support that at that time. Because the bids didn't come in before the year end, they didn't give us money. And then they said at the beginning of the year, well, don't ask us for money when you still have money in your budget. Ask us when you don't have money in the budget. So we had to pay for that and we got it done, and that was a major necessity.
Well, and those are the types of things that I think that we're trying to avoid, is to be able to have some funds available to be able to do a little better, longer term planning going forward. At least that's my view.
Now, this lady back here,
No, I was just gonna say, on the 700 increase, that's quite a bit. I could see a couple hundred, but 700?
For one season.
No, for one season where we don't have full hookup, we do our own grass,
We do it all.
we do it all.
Imagine what it would cost
the county if they had to pay for everything that we do for free.
There's only a few, there's only a
Part-time
few
to the
seasonal
county.
campers that actually mow their own grass. Or that don't mow their own grass. The rest of us, the big majority, we all take care of our own lawns.
We make a trip out
Leaf
there once a
blowing.
week. If we're not gonna come for the weekend, just to mow our grass. So they don't charge us $50.
And I believe the reason we changed that prior was because. And decided to have mow their own grasses because of all of the yard ornaments and everything. Plus the liability of
Throwing a rock.
throwing a rock and all of that kind of stuff. and having to
Well, but
go
the
around
liability
it.
is, you're not responsible for it anyway. We're responsible. If you were to break something on our camper, the county is not responsible. It's our own insurance. It's what we've signed in leases for the last several years, that we're responsible for anything that may happen to our property. So it wouldn't be a liability.
Question going with that. If I
she's
pay
she
you
was
to mow my
next.
grass,
Excuse me, she's
Go ahead.
next.
Okay, it's reasonable what you're saying, and we need an increase with, to get funds in. Absolutely understandable. I know everything's gone up. Most of the people that are at that campground have been there 10, 15, 20, almost 30 years. And I know that some of those people aren't gonna be able to afford a $3,000, rent. And those people are the people that are here for 30 years because they care about the place. They love the place. We invest everything in it. And my fear is if it does go to 3,000, you're gonna lose a lot of people. Good people. And there's not many people, I know, in this county, Porter County, that are gonna come to a self-dump campground for $3,000. Yeah, the lake's great. It is, but me personally, do I go there every day? No. So I mean, I would just ask that you consider that 3,000 is a little high. And if you lose a whole bunch of people, you're not gonna have any income. So, I mean, if there's any room to wiggle, I mean. We have talked about this, and we kind of expected that, okay, maybe it'll go up to 2,500. And everybody's thinking, okay, how can we get 2,500? Some people are saying, hey, then we need 3 payments rather than 2. We're trying to figure out a way that, you know, everybody can be happy. But I just think that $3,000, $700 a year right off the bat, it's just not feasible for a lot of people. And what you have in there right now are good people. They look out for each other. They look out for the county. They look out for the beach. That place is immaculate. People drive by just to look at the campsites. And if you lose those people, who knows what you're gonna get? You know, and so we are willing to work with you, but it just needs to be a little more reasonable than 300 or, you know, $3,000. That's not gonna be doable for a lot of people.
You're a little confused on the whole mowing, that we're responsible for more grass because in case something hits our camper. But if we don't mow our grass, you're per your lease, we gotta pay you, right? And who's responsible if you mow I pay you mow my grass and you break my window? Is it your responsibility now?
I would probably think so. Right?
It's either yes or it's no. I mean,
Yeah.
there can't be a gray area there.
Right.
So, yeah, and that's in black and white then.
Did you guys base your increases from other campgrounds in the area?
We did look at a lot of other campers.
Which ones did you look at?
I think there was about 19 of them.
Yeah, there's a whole list.
Yeah, they're a very wide range. They range from, you know, like 1,300 up to 3,200.
The one thing that's unique about this campground with the others is if this is the only campground where you don't have to pay for the electricity. And all of the others that were on our list, all 19 of, well, the 19 that we had. Can I come up and give you a? Sure. Our list that was composed of a couple days ago. Of the ones that are within 50 miles.
Do they all have lakes on them?
No, they don't. The ones that we. They do have
How do you
some ponds,
compare?
and there are some with lakes.
No.
I checked with that way.
Okay, keep in mind that
They're
With
like-
man-
that's real nice. If you do something-
Man, Oval, that's 3,200.
Yeah.
So Orland. Orland,
Our list.
Yes.
I got some extras here, if somebody
Thank you.
would like them.
Thank you. Orland, Indiana. There's just not a lot around here that are comparable to. I mean, Hickory.
Well,
Amenities do we have?
The majority of the,
Except the beach, what amenities do you offer up?
None.
electricity, internet,
You guys cannot disagree. You have exceptionally large lots. You're not on top of one another where your awnings are touching each other. You have property. We do have good lots. You do,
But we take care of them.
I understand
We
that,
don't
Linda,
even
but what
need
I'm saying is, so many campgrounds give you just enough room. You're lucky if you can get your awning. That's how sandwich and thin you are. You guys have, that is an
Rotator
amenity.
campers in that campground takes care of everything. We don't even need a superintendent. You're paying a superintendent for what?
But I'm just saying,
We
you
do
asked me what amenity you
everything.
had. I'm just saying as an amenity, as a
No,
camper and have.
We
camped
have a
every-
bigger lot.
And that's a huge.
That's not our fault. That's
No,
not
I'm saying
fair.
it's a blessing.
so these campsites here are comparable. Not county camp or state campgrounds. These are all privately owned. Within, I guess the longest one is Mission City Campground. Up there, and the rest of them are all within 41 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. So if you're gonna compare apples to apples, our apples are within 25 miles. I mean, I didn't go up into Michigan or Ohio or Southern Illinois or anything like that. I tried to keep it within the area that we're out. And those are 10-10 or 23.
Well, here's Jellystone, it's 2,900 and electric is extra.
Some of the other campsites that may be on this list or your list, if they don't have a lake or if they do have the Tippy canoe right by them, but they also provide, maybe during a holiday weekend, they provide activities for their campers. They have a band. If they have a band and other people from outside want to come in, or the campers' guests, they charge them to come in for that. So that's what we're kind of saying, what kind of, other than what we put on, us campers, we do, we try to do a 4th of July cookout, or we just did, the hog roast last weekend, and we're doing trick or treat possibly at a hayride this weekend, but that's us doing it, we're providing.
That's like festival each year.
That's what does it cost you guys?
That doesn't cost us anything, but the festival is there and we.
Right.
What we're saying is that
And the
other
county.
parks.
I think what they're saying is that it's not a campground activity.
But it's
We-
a county act.
I understand, but
The
we
county
look at it,
pays for
I
it.
understand
Right,
that,
we
but
haven't had any
we're
money
kind
to
of
do
looking
it.
at it as two separate entities. Because we're the campground and then there's the beach. I mean, me personally, as much as I use the beach, I would rather say, hey, I'll buy a season pass. I don't need to go freely back and forth to the beach. Because I'm there to camp, spend time with my family, spend time with my friends, my campmates. I don't have a boat. I don't do any of that. If I go to the beach, it's just for a little cookout.
Not all of
So-
us in the campground have boats.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's,
So we're
I
not
think.
using
But
it.
you all have the lake.
Immediate,
You all have
just
the lake.
thinking of them differently.
You all have the lake, you all have the things that the county does.
Yeah.
You have the fireworks, you have the Bass Lake Festival, it's all there. Yes, sir.
But it's not something that
Show
the
up here,
fees
don't
that you're
tell us.
increasing, it's not something that the county itself is paying, the park department is paying for to have the Bass Lake Festival or the fireworks. I get it, it's provided for us and we enjoy it, we go to it, we all enjoy it, but it's not something that's coming out of your budget.
But it is a benefit you get for living.
But it's a benefit for the entire
Right,
Bass Lake community.
right,
Correct.
but still a benefit.
Oh, I understand.
We can't operate on the budget
One thing,
where we just break even. Because we're gonna
Well-
continue to have to put money into that.
one thing that's hard to argue is inflation has happened in the last 2 years. And the 12% is the amount for the last 2 years. So 12% is $270 on 2,300. It is 12%. I know that because I'm an estimator. I know exactly what inflation's been the last 2 years. And so I do. It's 12% for the last 2 years. It's about 6%. It was 7% then 5%. So that actually totals for more than 12%. So that right there is $270 added on to 2,300. So that's 2,570 plus the increase in NIPSCO, which is 10%. And if you say, let's say $75 to $100 a month for that, so maybe about $70, $80 on that. So then you're at 2690 plus improvements that are made. It's really not that far from the $3,000 after you add those things. Inflation is a big thing.
Wonder how they're staying open,
Not, well,
because they're charging $1,000 less and giving you a full hookup, mowing, doing what they should be doing.
okay, go there.
I'm on there, out of breath there, didn't understand, when I talked to Jellystone. You said theirs was 2,900.
I didn't compare to Jellystone and Plymouth because they own their own lots. That's not seasonal. I went,
Well, they
But they
also,
still need to get a rental.
the one I looked at was in Pearston.
they do seasonal going.
They do show you there for seasonal. Yeah, I thought he said it was 29.
Well, I was looking at the one on here, which is probably Pearston. It's 29.
Gary, did we figure out a breakdown on the electric or? Yeah.
Yeah, you need to speak up for us,
Yeah.
please.
So point of order, are we on item number 4? Or are we still on item number 3? Just a point of order question
Item.
on the agenda.
Oh, we're still on the budget.
Okay.
Well, and this is part of the open discussion from seasonal campers.
That's why I'm
So
asking.
it's-
No,
That's why I
that's
was asking.
That's a different
a
topic.
different topic.
but it was kind of- What's
So
different
I'm
about
just
it?
asking, I'm not asking out of anger, I'm just trying to get things straight. So if the rent is raised to $3,000 and let's say you lose 10 seasonal campers. And you don't get those replaced. So the rest of us that are there. Next year, will you increase our rent to make up the difference for that? So saying that,
We have
second part of my question is.
Why are you so sure that we won't get anybody to fill those spots?
I'm asking. a
Well,
question.
and
Are you sure?
actually, part of the issue too is I think this year we had weekend campers and whatever that we offered sites to. We actually made more money off of the weekend campers than we did off of the seasonal. So there, if there are people who leave, it might be something we have to look at as far as often. Sites just- weekend campers.
Made more money off.
So what he's saying.
No, not
is-
in all seasons.
What he's
But I'm
saying is those
instead-
4 sites that were weekends, we made like $18,000. Had those have been seasonal, that would have been $9,200. So we doubled money by renting those 4 sites out on the weekends.
So you guys tried to
Hey,
make a
people.
bunch of campsite.
You have the
campsites
floor.
and
She was
lost-
acknowledged.
She didn't finish her question.
You have the floor.
Oh, sorry.
So the second part of my question is. So is the campground. Only being funded by the seasonal campers, not by the county?
Well, this year, this. Parks Department is taking in money from the seasonal campers and the pier sites, right, the pier slips. Those are the two, and the gate fees, those are the,
Pavilion.
Okay,
Right,
so
right,
so
right.
without the gate fees, because, you know, the gate fees for the beach. I mean, that's gonna happen whether there's campground or not.
right, but it's all coming into the park fund that we operate on, that we have to pay expenses.
They're like all one, the beach and campground are one. It's not. I believe they go together.
Well, it all goes to fund the park department.
So I think I can probably answer your first part of the question. Was one, we don't want to raise rates.
Right.
We don't like to raise rates. It's not something that we look forward to doing. So to answer your question, will we raise rates next year to compensate for the campers that we lose? That has not been discussed. We do not look at that. Right now, that's not our agenda or goal. So hopefully we wouldn't have to do that. Okay.
$700, that's a big show.
If you'd like to talk, please raise your hand like everybody else.
This lady was first.
Just wondering if with the increase, are you also going to raise the entrance to the beach for the public that comes in?
I don't think we've discussed.
We haven't had that.
We haven't discussed that.
I'm
It's
just
not
wondering
off the
because,
table.
because I mean. The garbage cans and the grills over there, they're great. But I don't think that most of us campers use that. Because we have our own grills or we come back over to our campsite and use it. So that's an amenity for the outside, for the public that comes in. That's a perk to them. So for the increase, you know, to you, to say that the increase is part of for the new trash cans and grills. It's not really a benefit to us campers.
Right, but I mean, the expenses that go into the beach and the campground are used by anyone who chooses to use them. And we have that expense whether you choose to use them or not. I mean, we're just trying to make things better. That's
I understand, but you're basing our increase off of some of that. So that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, everything we do improves the whole area.
Well, and that's part of the reason why we tried to apply for the grant this year too. We haven't heard yet what's going to happen with that, but
Yes, sir.
How does your research of the other campgrounds compare to what you did about a year ago? Because in, I believe it was the October or November minutes, it was stated, it's not an exact quote, but it's close, that you charge more than any other campground and yet offer the fewest amount of amenities. How did the
You stated
research
that.
change?
Who said that?
It was in the committee minutes from October, November of last year.
That could have been a person in the audience. I don't think it was anybody here
I
saying
don't
that.
think it was the board that said that.
I believe it was. I don't have that with me, unfortunately.
What month was it? I'll look it up.
October or November. It was someone. It's a year ago, but someone. And I believe it was someone that the board had asked to check into this. Found it, out of the ones that they checked, our county. Charged the most. And offered the least amount of amenities. And I just want to know how this research differs from what they was done a year ago.
Well, I can't comment on it because I don't know where you're getting that from a year ago. I don't know who did that research or what they said. We can look it up and try to resolve that. I don't know. Yes, ma'am.
Now, does the money that comes in from the campers and the beach, everything just stay within that entity? Or is it all in the fund that goes to all the other parks too?
it goes into the park board.
Goes into the park.
So it can go for anything.
Well, but
Okay.
there aren't any other parks that require.
Yeah, I don't know that we spend money on anything else, to be honest with you. I really don't.
Remember that there was a big spoke about,
Looks like-
Coons Lake. And it's
Right.
been a while.
we spent was.
I'm just saying, I just want to know, because I remember the last time I was here, there was some issue with putting money into Coons Lake, and I wasn't sure if it all came out of the same.
Coots Lake,
Right.
from what my understandings are at the meetings, they've got their own little group that really does the majority of the stuff out there.
Yeah, and then the
So I
other,
don't-
the only other thing we're responsible for is the Starke County Forest, and that's self-funded by sales of timber and things like that. That's all maintained within that fund
Yes,
to be used for that purpose.
I want to return to that $25,000 peer ordeal. Is there anybody that oversees this board when they decide we're going to spend that kind of money? Or is it just your decision, cut and dry? Because that was an awful lot of money for.
Are you talking about the piers we bought from the marina?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, we were advised that those piers were in good shape and that they were a good buy. That's what we were told.
Well,
Hey,
That wasn't who.
well, and the
I'm
main,
not a pier guy. I don't know beans. about it.
None of you on the board have even wanted to talk about that. It's been brought up several times. That was $25,000.
Well, that's water under
Right.
the bridge.
And
We
the
were
time-
advised it was a good thing to spend on. We were told they were worth that money.
and to tell you the truth, that the reason that the cost was what it was is mainly for the hardware. That was good Muncie hardware that was used on that pier. The wood itself was not the issue. And we knew if we had to replace that, we had to replace it, but the cost of the hardware was more than what we spent on that pier.
So we can't.
And we found out, and to tell you the truth, we really found out when we had to go out and buy new hardware. For putting up the rest of the piers, how much more expensive that new hardware was. So.
That money isn't gone, the hardware's there. We still have that. The money isn't gone. It just didn't buy good lumber.
But we kind
We
of had
still got our money's worth with the hardware.
hardware, yeah, and we had a good idea.
We thought we were getting a real good deal, and we did.
Wasn't answered.
It's your question.
Are you overseen when you spend that kind of money by anybody higher than you?
No, no. It's a
Nobody?
decision. Yeah,
Okay, I think that should be recorded.
okay.
Well, we are responsible for the money that the park board spends, but obviously the county council,
County council.
They don't micromanage.
yeah, they don't micromanage us. We make our decisions, but if they had an issue with something, I'm sure they'd
We
tell
come to
us.
your house and micromanage, you wouldn't like it.
You're right, everybody's house. This is county.
Yes, sir.
As I understand, the money that we pay in the beach, that goes into the Bass Lake Beach and Campground checkbook. Or does it go to?
Goes to a
Stark
general
County-
fund.
Stark
And
County's
then we
general
are
fund?
allocated the money that we were budgeted to spend for that year. When that budgeted amount is gone, we are out of funds.
Okay.
Whether we
But
take
if
in
there's a
that,
surplus, then.
I think if there was a surplus, it would go
There's not a
into,
surplus this year.
yeah,
Okay.
we're actually
That's the
gonna be
goal.
probably short.
One of the goals is to accumulate a surplus. So if everybody paid in this year, $130,000, you spent at least $130,000.
Yes.
Yes.
It was 200 or 180.
Yes, sir.
It's my understanding, could be wrong here, I've been wrong many times. A few months ago, it was stated in here that, that pumps were gonna cost around $30,000. And that a individual that was from the commissioners, or not sure where he was from, said that if you spend your $30,000. And then if you don't have the money at the end of the year, come to us and we'll get it to you. And am I mistaken there?
They
You're
said they
not
would,
mistaken, and
they
I
said
am
they would
going, and I
discuss
am
it.
going to that meeting on Monday, October 16th.
Yeah, because we're probably going to be short this year.
We are.
Okay.
I'm
so-
already on the agenda for that
But
meeting.
the park board or these guys are trying to do everything. But they need help financially. And I understand that you guys want to do it self-sufficient and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But you can't expect a park that has been gone downhill for 15 years. You know, to pay for everything. With what they have intake, it's gonna take time to get that back up, and I understand you don't like that. But gosh, guys, it's been a long time. And they're making really good improvements, but they have to have help. And
Well, you might
and I don't
want
mind
to,
helping.
you might want to talk to the county council.
I've been to county council before, but we can go again if they let me. speak.
Now they have agreed, if we get this grant, they have agreed to match the funds. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
And that's a lot of if.
Yeah, what's a lot of if, but if it happens, it's gonna make a world of difference out there too. It's gonna affect everybody.
There's no doubt it will.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if we don't get the grant, we still have the 575,000.
Well, or the way I took it was, I didn't hear we get to 575. I heard that we need to come back with a smaller plan and they would give us significant
we'd have to
amount,
return to the council.
close to that, but that's up to the council.
That's not what we were told here.
Todd, you wanna
That's
weigh
what,
in on
I was
that?
at that meeting, that what I heard was a significant amount would be contributed to the park board if we came back with a new revised plan at a smaller scale.
Yeah, that's
would-
true. I mean, with the incoming solar money, like it's paid, I don't care what your feelings are about it, it doesn't matter. It's an economical decision. And with that, like Tom said, if this grant doesn't go through, maybe some options to help on some other projects, but you have to remember, it's a Starke County Park Board, it's not the Bass Lake Park. We have to look at the other two parks, if they need some improvements, or if they go through with all the kayaking and all that other stuff. I mean, they're not the only place in the county. And that's what I think it's so important for people to realize. We're trying to make them self-sufficient, and they're doing a hell of a job. But we will help, and I'll be supported to help any way we can, and I'll be commissioners within reason.
Okay, appreciate it.
Yeah, that's just it. We want to do what's right for everybody. We can't do what's right. Don't take this the wrong way. 30 campers that stay at that campground. There's 23,000 people in this county. So it has to benefit, hopefully, everybody in the entire county, because we're using county money. So,
And we're just looking at our expenses and looking at what we need to operate and be able to have a little bit ahead to plan for the
because
future.
before we were giving you an extra 40,000.
Yeah, we normally had gotten 33,000 from the
So
county.
now you guys are doing it basically on your own, other than the lift station.
Right.
So you're
We
doing
did
good.
that on our own.
No, that came out.
Right,
of
so
our budget.
that-
So far.
Cut it out.
Well,
You're
she'll see you guys Monday.
right. See, I'm trying to make you feel better.
When is that grant supposed to either come through or not come through?
This month, I think. We should know.
When do they make?
The
a
deadline
decision?
was said September/October, so.
So,
Any day we're waiting.
if, per se you do get it, would you consider not raising it so high since you do have the extra money? Is it even a consideration that,
That's,
hey, you know?
Why don't-
maybe
that's
we
separate
can-
from that is separate from our revitalization of
Yeah.
the beach house, the bathhouses, the playground area on the campground side. That is separate. I mean, that is,
And,
it's gonna be wonderful.
This is
but
operating.
Well, and
This is
that's-
operating, daily operating.
and that is actually probably going to be a multi-year project if we did it. So it's going to take some time. But yeah, a few years down the road and we're not worrying as much about the infrastructure stuff that we're worried about now. I guess we could look at it, but I don't know what's going to happen in 2 years.
I don't know if that's gonna be extra. I mean, that money is designated to redo the bathrooms, the beach house.
It's very, very specific. It's not like
Specific
extra
thing,
money where we
yeah.
go throw whatever here or there.
Right.
It's by guidelines.
It's for that
It's a
specific
federal
project.
grant.
Yes,
I just wanna say, I wish you well. $3,000 for our campers to go dump their own dump. And mow their own grass. I think you're gonna have a hard time keeping campers in.
No internet. Don't forget no internet.
We've got and no internet.
Zero.
Okay, well, to
It's no internet. And the campground gets internet and they have a boost.
and we,
Don't blame the campground. I live here and I have trouble with internet.
And we don't.
But you know what, we're literally just hearing.
Yeah, we pay for it. So am I.
You didn't have really good internet.
I pay $60 a month for it.
I think ours is 400 and something.
This, for my knowledge, I don't know. Has there been any money come from the county or any other parks in Stark County?
This year?
Yes.
No, not yet. I mean, we're going to look for our shortfall next week, but no.
And last year either.
Last year, I think the park department got 33,000, I think it was.
33,000.
I mean, for other parks.
You didn't spend anything at Bass Lake or the beach for the.
We not any significant amount. It all went into the beach and campground.
First of all,
And that was this year.
the forest has its own funds. They cover everything.
Yes.
Okay, it was set up that way. Coons Lake, we've done a minimal amount up there that we put in signs. That's about all we've done. They've got a group up there that
They did that.
volunteers that do things. And they've done most of that themselves and cost the park board anything. There's a kayak project. The money that we've received so far, that's all been donated. Okay, that didn't come out of your money that you paid. So that's where we are. Okay,
I was just curious.
yeah, that's where that is. And
Can we go back to the Wi-Fi for a minute, the internet?
sure,
Is that accurate, what they're saying? They're-
No, not now. It's not.
It doesn't work.
Hold on.
By my camper, and it's very rare that I can get on it, and if I do, it's for a few seconds, few minutes, and it's done. Or it will say unable to join, because I have a feeling it's limited on how many people can join.
Sure.
So, and that's almost.
I need to speak to that. Tracy just went last month. Maybe you should tell them how much you've increased it. Explain to them what's.
Well, we got a new box for one thing that was a lot of the problems. I know there was one camper out there that would call me about hourly. And tell me that it wasn't working, and I rebooted it all hours of the days and nights. So we finally got an IT guy out there and got this new $600 box. I upped all of the internet out there to 1 gig, which is Mediacom's highest that you can even get, which raised the bill about $150 a month. And I know, I haven't heard any issues.
Not working.
Well, no, I'll raise my hand, I can't get internet.
The person you're talking to.
Person you're talking
she
about
still
still
cannot get
wants to go in.
Why she wanted to get on is
Well-
because she's in school and she'll come down there because she's a nurse.
Which
She works
the new lease is gonna
different
say that,
schedules,
it's
so-
not for that, it's not for working and streaming and gaming and all of that.
No,
Um,
he's trying to do homework, but why have it? If it's not, yeah.
Since I.
Hold on just a second.
Ago, I haven't heard one word. This
Tracy,
is the first I've heard.
Tracy, can we get a hold of somebody from MediaCom and have them come out there?
It's not Mediacom's issue. We're in the middle of the woods.
So it's no good.
And
I would like to speak, please.
you know, you're not gonna get on constantly like your house.
Can I speak, please?
Heard any complaints because we just have given up.
Yeah.
We're probably just as tired of complaining to you guys about the internet as you're tired. of
Can I
hearing it.
speak,
So
please?
We've just given up. It's almost the end of the season.
I know when
Yeah.
we're out there, like, I have the work phone and I have this phone and I have this one on manager and this one on guests, and it doesn't matter where I'm at, I always have internet.
But do you use it?
Do you use it?
Yeah, I use it all the time for my music.
I can say.
Or to
when I-
look things up, we have
That's
to run credit cards on our
When I'm on the
computers.
beach streaming, or I'm on the campground side and I take a lot of credit card transactions on.
We
that
have to use it
computer,
for.
I have
our
yet
credit
to have a
cards.
problem. So if you have a problem, the one thing that I can tell you is what Richard told me last year, our old IT guy, was that you probably need to have a booster inside your camper. That's the only thing I can tell you. Having expanded our services as much as we have and incurred those additional expenses, I have to,
Timon,
perhaps we need to talk to Comcast.
Because
Or, yeah, maybe.
previous
Angelina?
people that ran it, we did have it, we had good internet. So it's doable. I don't know if it's just a different service. 'cause
Oh,
it is-
somebody would like to speak there.
Yeah.
Stanley.
can you hear me?
You have to unmute them, right?
They are on.
Can you hear me? Hello,
There you go, ask the out.
can you hear me?
Yes.
They are.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm that camper that was calling her every hour and I'm right across the street from the bathhouse.
They are.
And there's no trees between me and the system.
I'm right across.
And during the week,
Now we got two.
there is nobody there. And I would lose service multiple times a day. And during
It's still going on here.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
it was echoing in the room.
okay. So I just want to make sure that you guys understand that there is a problem out there. It is not a tree issue because there's not a tree between me and the bathhouse. And I was the one that was contacting her multiple times a day to the point that she got upset and has no longer had communications with me, which is upset, which is
From you lately.
because you trash talked me to two people in the campground after you asked me to let you know about the internet issue. I was letting you know because I think the amount that the campground or the park is paying $400 or $350 or whatever it is way too much for a camper there during the week to lose service 5 and 6 times a day when nobody is there and there is no tree between her and the system. So there is an issue there, and Mediacom should come out and do an engineering survey to find out what the problem is. I told you that, and you wouldn't listen to me, just like you won't listen to anybody else in the park. It is a problem. And it's frustrating that we come to you and try and talk to you reasonably about things, and it goes nowhere. I am directly across the street from that system, and there's not a tree between me and it.
I was just told by the IT guy that it was not a Mediacom issue. I'd be more than glad to call Mediacom.
I asked you to call Mediacom a long time ago and suggested that. And I also have a house on the lake with my family. So I'm aware of what Mediacom does in the area for the other person who says that. So we had to replace a line at that house. And it does fix it. But again, the frustration is when we come to you to talk to you, you don't want to listen to what we have to say. It's the trees. But that's about everything that we come to you about.
What's your name, ma'am?
My name is Kathy, and I'm sorry, I am frustrated because she's
Kathy,
trash talked me. I'm sorry?
My name is Richard Ballard. I'm president of the park board, okay?
Sure.
You're welcome. My number is 574-772-0455. That's my office phone. You're welcome to call me at any time that you have an issue, and I'll look into it.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I would like to suggest, we paid, year to date, we paid $4,300 to Mediacom. According to this. I would suggest calling them. In fact, I won't even suggest it. I will say, call Mediacom, get them out there, have them do a check on the system, the lines, whatever it takes. If they can't get it up and running favorable to everybody, then we need to just do away with it.
I agree. Just to let you know. I'm on site 19. I have a direct line of sight to the antenna on top of the
Guard shack, whatever you want to call it. I get 5 bars. Real strong signal. But no internet. I get it all the time. It's connected without internet, connected without internet. So, but I'm getting 5 bars, so I'm getting a strong signal. But it's not connecting yet.
Right.
And my understanding, I just heard this the other day from somebody that Mediacom's got a large lawsuit against them right now for taking on the customers and not giving them the service that they've had, so.
Problem is, there's no other choice in this area.
I understand, well, there are other choices, there's other choices. I mean, you've got Surf Speed coming in now, there's some other ones out there. Brightspeed, yeah. That's what I got, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're
Yeah,
not.
I got that.
Boosters.
I told them on the phone the other day, not so Brightspeed, so.
It's late at 7 in the morning and it dies out.
Right.
We'll move on to the financial.
Well,
Can we-
are we gonna make a?
We'd like to nominate.
Increase.
I'm sorry, oh, vote on those?
Yeah,
Or you,
You getting ready to vote on the increase?
Yeah.
unless there's other comments.
Opportunity to fluctuate on that at all? It's cut and dry, it's 3,000.
or table it.
I mean,
Table
I,
it.
I really have the best interest of the campground and the park, but I mean, I know personally people that can't afford it. And I mean, there's what, how many campers? There's 58, 57. And I'm sorry, you're gonna lose a lot of people, and I don't want that. I mean, I want the park to stay beautiful. I want it to stay happy. I want, you guys to be able to make some money. I want us to be able to just, help you when you need help. We've always been there. When you guys were switching over and you had nobody to do things, me and my daughter are gonna dump the trash.
And me and Kathy.
Yes. It's like, we're there to help you.
Yeah,
So it's
I
like, it almost feels like a stab in the gut.
And even before the county took over, when Larry was there, but we all had a weekend, a pre-opening weekend where if it was nice weather, we all came down and cleaned up the campground together. And it wasn't just we were cleaning up our campsites, we were helping everyone else. And then same thing at the end of the season, we would do a leaf, cleanup, and those were the kind of things that we did, and just, just out of the goodness of his heart, he'd buy us all pizza, or, he sent Randy to get us pizza, or one morning it was breakfast pizzas, or, just something just to show appreciation that, hey, the campers are helping out too. We appreciate, the workers doing it too, but that's something that, we could, if we all were on the same page, we could, offer to help.
It would be nice to work united rather. I mean, I've been coming to these for a long time, and it's really been almost like a us versus they for a really long time. I have been to few meetings, but it's always when Larry was here, was always fights and
I
yelling.
personally take offense to
I
that.
know. Well, I haven't been to a meeting with you here.
Okay.
That's
Oh,
why
I thought
I'm
you
just
meant
saying
at the
the
campground.
meetings that I had been to before, when the cutting first started. But we really would genuinely like to work together. And we're not like, oh my gosh, $3,000, you guys are screwing us. It's just really a lot. And a lot of people can't do it, and it's hurtful. We put a lot of time, pride, effort, love into this county, into the campground, and it's like we want a little bit of appreciation also. That's all.
Okay, first of all, the guy in the back.
Yeah, thank you. We got together this last weekend and tried to come up with some ideas and concerns. And we got those all together, and we'd like you to hear them out. No discussion about them or anything necessarily. Just want you to understand that we have concerns as well.
Does that have to do with the price increase?
That has to do with.
We're still on
everything.
When you say entire thing, could you be a
Yeah.
little more specific?
There's 42 or 44 different issues that we have concerns with.
Okay.
Ranging from a pit in the back that's got steel in it to different things. And we don't want to have a big, long drawn out thing. but it'll take them a few minutes to read it, if that's acceptable to you. Now, that's not everybody's input. You know, that's as many people as we could get together in a short notice. And we'd like to bring that concerns to the board's attention.
All right, do you have an estimate of the potential expenses on that list?
No, because that's.
There's no expense.
Just
It's just concerns that we want you to hear.
Pick and choose.
I think that's the next item on the agenda after.
Right.
So we need
Okay,
to.
I just don't want to get away.
Just a quick comment that the $3,000 is not actually $3,000. Because I have to pay $300 to leave my unit there over the winter. And now if I want to leave my gas grill there, that's another $200. So it's $3,500 for me to stay there year round. Now I have the option of taking my trailer out, and I have the option of taking my gas grill and my table and 4 chairs home. But if I leave them there, everything costs me $3,500.
That's one of the items that would be on the list.
Yes.
Unless I have a gazebo,
Yeah, that
then I
makes
can
all
store
the
the stuff under my gazebo and not pay the $200.
Angela.
We
that's
will-
As far as I don't know where you're getting the $200, because the only thing that we talked about was that if you wanted to store a jet ski or a golf cart in the back, that would be an.
That's not what the letter. It's taped to our door.
Oh, that would be, I think, you speak to that, because I
That
didn't
would be
write.
a $200 charge if you didn't remove your things.
But what things?
Grill.
Table.
Table,
Unless I
lawn
have a-
furniture, yard
Like,
furniture,
we're-
grill.
in every season that we've kept our camper there, we have a deck. We don't have a gazebo, you know, the hard, you know, heavy duty one. And we put our table and chairs, we put our grill, everything compiled, and we wrap it up in a tarp. And when we received that letter that was on our door, we were thinking that then we're gonna be charged $200 for that, on top of $300 if we leave our camper there. But if the people who have gazebos can pile everything in, they
I'm
weren't
renting one
charged.
out, so. You know.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna table this. We're gonna table this. Carl and Rick have agreed to be on a committee to meet with the campers. And why don't campers get together and appoint 2 people to meet with them? And hash some of these things out and see if we can come to some kind of agreement that is more or less satisfactory to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's very
And then we'll be ready by the next meeting
Thank you.
in November to vote on what the increase is gonna be. There's probably gonna be an increase, but it
Mhm.
might change.
Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much. You know, you want to raise it to 3,000.
Well, we don't want to.
We don't wanna raise it. We didn't wanna raise it.
Here have brought in we had to gravel our own sites. We had to gravel the road because the holes were so bad.
I know, but
Yeah.
that's
You don't
changed.
have to
But that's
now.
changed. That's
Take care of
changed.
Well,
You're
yeah,
going back to before that even happened.
It doesn't matter, who's gonna reimburse us?
No,
I mean, I put a lot of money into gravel on that site and that road.
okay. All right, it's my understanding we paved the roads.
Yeah, now you just do my gravel.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
My
Well,
question
you-
is, we're
better.
putting our camper there,
Kinda.
and we're paying
Kinda.
dollars. And we usually leave our grill, our table, and our swing, but we wrap it up real nice, and we're on a concrete pad. I'm gonna have to pay $200 more to leave that there?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry?
Well, I would think, no, that's not what it says, so you didn't get paid $200.
Okay, listen,
I wish I had that letter that was put on our door.
well, don't worry about the letter. Appoint a couple of people to meet with our people.
Mhm.
Set up a meeting and hash these things out, okay? We're gonna be here all night. Yes, ma'am. We're gonna try and work with you on this, okay? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but you're saying November, we close the camper at October 31st, so we have to have our stuff out of there. Do we leave it or do we have to take it?
That was
That's my
already
question.
decided at the last meeting.
That letter that was put in each of the campers.
Were you guys aware of the letter? You kind of all look confused. I'm guessing you weren't aware of what letter we got.
Real quick,
Okay.
super fast. If you're, I don't leave my camper, but if you're paying to leave your camper, would that not include your stuff? Because if camper's staying, you're already renting the spot for your camper. Could you just not pack that up? Get charged? I can see like, so I pull my camper out, but if I left table and chairs, grill, bunch of crap around my lot, that would be not good. But if these people are already paying $300 to store their camper,
Okay.
Would that-
I don't want to cut you off.
wouldn't that
But I'm going to cut
include?
you off. Listen.
Yeah.
Appoint a couple of these guys.
I understand, but what
We'll
she's saying
we'll
is,
talk about all these issues.
but she needs to know before November.
Well, I'm available every day,
Okay.
almost.
All standard around, right?
What's that?
Okay.
But okay,
Let them table this. please.
Yeah, we're gonna take.
Take a vote.
Yes, ma'am.
One more thing.
Yes.
Are employees allowed to drink while they're working at the campground?
Who?
Employees, people that work there,
Drink what?
alcohol. If they're on the clock, and what is the clock for them?
Can we
Or on the
finish
front
this
seat.
piece of the agenda, please, before we move on? You want to vote to table the rate increases?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to table the rate increases. Set up the committee with Carl, myself, and 2 members of the campground appointed by campground members. To meet as soon as possible and discuss this.
I'll
we
second
have
the
a
motion.
message.
Yes, somebody raising their hand.
I'll second.
Okay, and I would like to add, if you guys get something resolved, we can have a special meeting prior to the next official meeting, okay? I mean, if we get something worked out and you guys want to come in and meet early, I understand you want to wrap up your camp.
Yeah, well, we have to be out by the 31st, so
I
I
got you.
have to know, am I gonna be able to leave my table, my grill there?
Sooner you guys get 2 people together,
Mhm.
you let myself or Rick know. And we'll make arrangements to meet with you out there preferably.
In case it's not decided before the next month meeting and our campers are still left there, our items are still left there, will we be charged or not be charged until we decide, you just make a decision?
Yeah, we'll
I
make-
think that's what you're getting at.
Right.
Yeah, we'll have to make it.
A grace period, period. Okay.
Okay, is there a second for the motion?
Yes, I made a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
But I'd like to make a comment though.
Go ahead.
With the rate increase that we were suggesting, we did that based on what we thought we needed to have for operating funds. So just be aware of that. I'm not saying we don't table this, but if we go for something less, there's something that you're gonna miss. I mean, you know what I'm saying, going forward. So I just think you need to be aware of it and.
That's what you guys.
Going to be
that's what you
aware
guys
of
need to be.
comment of
Yeah,
the
discuss
real-
Okay,
Somebody's raising their hand on the
and
TV there.
They posted their comment. The comment is, can we please leave things as it was last year? Make changes for next year. That's a Zoom.
We're trying to do
We
right.
definitely
Yeah,
have to
I'm
do
just-
this next year.
Acknowledge that.
As of right now, it's still the same.
Tracy,
So
can you guys be at the meeting that they have, especially you, Angelina, take notes. So when we come back, okay? All right. Are we supposed to do an open discussion from the campers? here?
We have a spokesperson that can speak instead of everybody.
Introduce myself as you guys have asked, Keith Gary, lot 29 from the Bass Lake Campground. We had I don't want to say a short meeting. It actually was about an hour and a half. And we came up with a list of concerns and questions and thoughts. I've got them typed up, page and a half. That's the 42 or 44, I think you were the mention. Obviously, you come up with a solution for that. I would like to be part of that if the campers agree to that and somebody else would.
Second that.
I will pass these out, the written stuff, to the board members and any of the council or commissioner members. To allow them to kind of see what the campers have come together and I don't know, consolidated their thoughts, because some of, obviously what you've heard tonight is repetitive. The one comment I want to make, they're not in any particular order or greater
Go ahead and
importance
read
than
them, right?
another. If you're willing, I can read them. I would like to read them for the people that are on the Zoom call, so they know what we're talking about. And what we've said and what we've mentioned.
Then I suggested they be allowed to be read but not discussed.
Right.
Well, it depends on
Well, we decided.
It's just a page and it's a page and a half or so, 40 some things.
Yeah, go ahead and read.
Go ahead and read it.
You read it.
Yeah.
Well, you guys can basically follow along and.
Big day, I forgot my glasses.
I got a spare pair here.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, Rick, did you want one? Yeah. Well, I'm up here. Yep. I've got 23 copies. So what, anybody is welcome to whatever I have left over, and of course I can forward this electronically. It's in a Word document format. Okay. Yeah, no problem. That's me. Not keeping an eye on where I'm walking.
He's right over there in the corner.
This one?
Thank you.
Thanks. You got it? Okay. Anybody else? I briefly did the introduction. I was recently asked to be a spokesperson. I talked about that already. Concerns, questions, and thoughts could be shared related to the Starke County Commissioners, council members, and park board members and employees, so they may be addressed, mitigated, or resolved. Not all seasonal or other campers were present or notified due to a variety of circumstances that include being physically absent from the campground last weekend. The lack of phone numbers and or emails to contact them to inform them of the informal gathering to obtain their concerns, questions, or thoughts. It is our hope that the following items would be most, if not all, their concerns as well. But if they don't, they would have the opportunity to discuss their concerns that were not mentioned at the conclusion of our presentation or in the very near future. So they can be heard by the group. In conclusion, the below items are not in any particular order or greater importance of others than another item. They are numbered purely for numeric and tracking purposes. I would also like to ask all questions or comments from both the audience and the park board or anybody else be held until the end of the presentation so the meeting can continue in a quick and orderly manner. Obviously, this is our intent was to try to get this out before all the crossfire happened. And the first one was the internet performance. Connectivity is very poor or non-existing at some campsites, even after the recent upgrades and improvements that caused significant monthly increase in the MediaCom bill. We are paying for a service / amenity. It isn't working for all campers on all sites, regardless of the location within the campground. Request the MediaCom be contacted and request one of their wireless network engineers be scheduled for a site survey to be conducted. So a viable working wireless network solution can be obtained for all campers. This estimate of proposed work by MediaCom should be presented to the park board so they can determine what is a cost-effective solution to providing this amenity to campers. Number two, the waiting list for an open campground site should be posted in a public area in the campground and or published on the park board website so that everyone can see the list and make sure line jumping isn't occurring and open sites are filled accordingly. Number three, boat slips were rearranged and moved without legitimate justification, and camper boat slips were given to non-camper campground people from around the lake. There are legitimate reasons people need to be on the outside due to their boat characteristics. Number four, how many people are on the current campground payroll? What are their individual job descriptions and duties in the campground and the beach area during camping season? What do they do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis during the camping season? What are their duties and work schedule during the off season? Number five, transparency with daily, weekly, and monthly campground operations. 6, maintenance and material that has been discussed and approved by the park board in previous years has not been purchased or planned to be purchased. 7, campers have been self-sufficient and paid for, maintained our individual sites and some of the common areas, which can and should be provided by the maintenance staff of the park board or other county departments. Number 8, current rules are inconsistently enforced and interpreted by park board representatives. There's no direct conversation with violators and decision makers about violations, to facilitate a remedy. Rules are subjective to interpretation by the reviewer on what is allowed. No grievance or appeal process is in place for campers to voice their concerns. 9, why is the price increase for next season in specific details that justify the increase? Bass Lake Beach cost of operation and maintenance should be separated from the campground. The campground should be not paying for the operation of the beach and vice versa. Electric water heaters, 40 gallons at the beach, 120 gallons at the campground. Lighting and ventilation in both campground and beach restrooms run 24/7 during the season, and due to age are energy inefficient. Can this be reduced to a switch system / on-demand system that can save the cost of electricity? Number 12, asking a current camper to pay for site upgrades to electrical service to their site. This should be a capital expense forecasted and budgeted by the park board. Excuse me. Are all donations received from the public, each donation box recorded every month in the budget at the auditors? I should have put auditor's office in there. Number 14, are all monies generated by the park board from the beach and campground operations being deposited into the Starke County Government General Fund? This money is then being used to pay for all the park board expenses, to include non-income generating entities. 15, during monthly meetings, all campground and beach previously monthly expenditures are not read aloud, itemized for review by the public. Can this be done at every meeting? 16, outdoor storage of furniture with a gazebo or not. This is a change to an upcoming storage lease mid-season and less than 30 days before the season, and the notice of additional fees is not a legal document. $200 additional penalty in parentheses. All the changes to the current should be made in the next lease, signed by and agreed to by the campers. 17, the additional fee for trailer storage during the off season. Why? Justification, question mark. Casino campers should be credited for winter storage fees for maintaining their site during the season. No expense or man hours to the park board or county for this service. 18, shed rules are inconsistent and not clear for everyone. Should not be different for each site that currently has a shed or not. We've heard the term grandfather used a lot. Burying of, number 19, burying of steel and other items in the hole in the rear of the property. It's illegal and safety issues with people moving in that area. Number 20, spending money on piers, $25,000, then burning no piers because they could not be used for their intended purpose. Pumper truck pumping out the lift stations for $7,000 worth. In one issue, sir, I apologize for my grammar here. Lift station upgrade of $35,000 out of the budget. And it should be a capital expenditure borne by the county as the county asset to maintain the public access to these sites, restrooms specifically. Improper forecasting and budgeting of large expenses out of the current budget. Number 21, preventive maintenance of infrastructure not on a schedule or visible. Number 22, the large removal of large tree stumps on the site and beach areas. There's no published plan to remove approximately 27 stumps at the beach and 20 stumps at the campground. Number 23, no need to move the dump station to the rear of the campground. Unnecessary and money could be used for other campground improvements such as the bathhouse in the campground. Breakdown, number 24, breakdown of rental money is not shown on the financial report received from the auditor's office. Where is money recorded and deposited to? Again, I remind everybody, these are concerns and thoughts that were brought up. Okay. Number 25, no breakout of kayak and pavilion rentals for profit and loss evaluation to determine whether we should continue with them or not. Number 26, camper lease payments are made 2 times a year. Can we make 3 equal payments for the 2024 season? Number 27, handicapped accommodations do not meet ADA compliance. The shower seats, handicapped toilets in the campground bathrooms. The men's handicap shower has been operable for 7 years or more, and also the women's has been inoperable. Recent inspectors passed the bathrooms, and they obviously don't comply with ADA requirements. Results are not posted for public viewing as to the inspection results. 28, what is the Starke County policy regarding county employees consuming alcohol while on county property? Number 29, are the people that are pulling campers out, are they guaranteed that they will get the same exact campsite as next season? Number 30, emergency contact. If park board employees are not available to respond, posting the on-call person for after-hour situations. Number 31, volunteers are not being asked to help with the campground and or beach maintenance, or even offer current park board staff members their help throughout the camping season, excuse me. 32, can we create a campground association and hold monthly meetings before the park board meeting? This would promote better communication with the board, to make the campground and the beach a better place. Number 33, timeliness of decisions takes months to complete or to get the process rolling. Season is over with and there's nothing got accomplished. Number 34, other campground rate comparisons are not equal in the same amenities and social amenities. Number 35, seasonal campers are offended and feel threatened by two Starke County government officials saying, if you don't like it, leave. And if you don't like it, the county will just make a walking part out of it and get rid of the campground. Additional significant costs will be borne by the county if not a campground. Campers feel like they voice their concerns and opinions, they'll be retaliated against in some shape or form. Obviously targeted on their back or just plain ignored. Number 36, all the campers that presented concerns and or questions would like to extend an open invitation to any Starke County commissioner, council, or park board member to visit and speak with any of the campers in the campground or the beach area. This will encourage personal familiarity and understanding what is happening at these locations. Number 37, rules for camping weekends are published and displayed. And I should probably a word right. Can they be published and displayed so everyone is aware of what the rules are and report the violations to the appropriate park board employee on duty? Number 38, lighting for roadway and walking areas. Number 39, can a camper be sold with the existing campsite to the new owners? Easier to sell the camper and guaranteed income for the park board. Number 40, why are the vehicle gates at the campground beach not locked after normal hours of operation? For example, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. for the campground and dusk to dawn for the beach area. Number 41, water tests from the well and beach results are not posted for public viewing and or shared with the camp beach use. Both are possible consumers of the well drinking water. Number 42, is there or should there be a mandatory boil order for water loss pressure events in the campground? In conclusion, here is our hope in the next coming months during the off season that 7 or 8 items be addressed at each of the park board's upcoming monthly meetings. In conclusion, all the campers and several of the Bass Lake residents have agreed that the campground and beach areas have not looked or operated better than it has in many years. So the current park board staff have made great strides in improving the campground and beach areas and continue to do so. So they should be commended on what they have accomplished and what they are planning to do in the future to make these areas even better for everyone to enjoy. And that's my quick presentation.
Thank you.
Sorry about the number.
Can I make a comment on that? Yeah. First of all, and thank you for that. And this is a great list. Some of those questions will be answered at the meeting for the cost. So some will be that. There's 4 different things I see. Some are personnel issues, and that has to be discussed at a executive meeting, and that's by law. So that has to happen. So some of those will be answered, and it could need to be answered in an executive meeting, separate from this, because personnel issues can't be discussed in a public meeting like this. Third, some of these are going to take some investigation, obviously. So as you even indicated here, you don't expect all these to be done right away. There are some here, I think there's probably 4 or 5 that probably could be answered quickly. I'd like to do that at the next meeting and get some of those done. I think that's a good idea. So I think that process of of having the cost meeting, possibly a personnel meeting if we deem that necessary, and then start the investigation and investigating some of these questions, because some of these we need to look up some of these things and talk to the county lawyer and some other things. So I think that's a good start. I mean, I don't know what you guys think.
I would agree.
That's what I mean. I think, and some of these are kind of general, and it's hard to understand how accurate and full they are. And I'm not saying they're all, I'm just saying that there's some that is a judgment.
I appreciate you, that you said we could do this on a continual basis as long as you see progress and answering. And I think, I don't speak just for myself. I would like to answer these questions for you guys and everybody kind of come to, not necessarily agreement, no one's gonna agree on everything, but at least where we can resolve some of these things.
Yeah, we don't want to be enemies. We want to work together. Okay? Financial report?
You guys have it, right?
You guys are aware of the level it's at, right?
You got a question? Dick?
Yeah, that's why they're going to the meeting. Like,
Right, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so,
You're meeting with Rachel too, right?
Got open door every Monday and first Monday and third Monday of the month. Council's got them on Thursday, always open the door. We're probably not gonna give you an answer. We're gonna send you back to your park board, but we're always there.
And vice versa, our campsites are always open if you.
Like to see you guys out there.
Yeah, I'm definitely, I'm off there almost every day now. Yeah, we appreciate it. We appreciate our elected officials attending the meeting tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm sure they're gonna try and help resolve as many of these things as we can, okay? Was there a motion to accept the financial report?
I'll make a motion to accept the financial report.
For a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Superintendent's report.
Most of the things on there have been answered throughout the night. We talked about the grant with Troyer between September and October, so there's not a whole lot we can do on that. It was touched on going to the council meeting on the agenda Monday for the budget. That was kind of talked about to see what we can do, rearrange some money and stuff. Lift station was kind of talked about. The guy that put it in wants to come in at the end of the season and before we shut the water off and power wash it and all of that, just to keep it in good shape. The piers, as of tonight, are completely out. They started last Monday. I think they worked like 5 days, during that nice weather and during some of this other weather, but they are completely out and basically all put away. Like I said, everything else was, it's starting to be the leaf cleanup and all of that. Everything else was kind of discussed throughout the meeting. So that's about it on that.
Tracy, I do have one question for you. 5 weeks ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, we addressed you with the neighbors on the side of us not cutting the grass.
Right.
Did you ever?
Number one, I haven't seen them. I have not contacted them. No, there's a spot next to them. They have slide outs and there's about this much of their grass that's not cut. And they proposed that I charge them a $50 fee for that, for not cutting their grass. And I did not address that.
Okay. I'm curious.
Is there a motion to accept the superintendent's report?
I'll make that motion to accept the report.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Their motion to accept approval of paying routine bill.
I'll make a motion to accept the claims and paying the bills.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Almost don't want to say this. Is there any other business? Before that?
One thing I'd like to say is there's been a lot of discussion tonight, but I'd also like to bring up the point that this year has been a learning experience for all of us and the park staff. And I think the park staff, the superintendent and Angelina have done a great job this year of taking a lot of issues from a lot of different people. And while every issue doesn't get resolved at the point that it's brought up, it's always on a list in the back of our minds to try to get things done. And I'd like to just thank them for their support all year. Without them, we wouldn't be where we're at. And I think we're in a much better place than we were a year ago.
Amen. Yes, sir.
Yes, you can. You guys,
No way.
you guys make a very good valid point about Stark County Beach and Campground being a center stone of Stark County. And I think that's absolutely true. I've been here a long time. I think that somebody has to give them the funds to make it the crown jewel. Okay, of Stark County. And this is kind of something that I took a few pictures of our crown jewel of a beach. Goes that way all summer.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's something that I wouldn't think would cost a great deal of money, but it's something that sure make us look really good. When people come from out of state, say, hell, let's go to Bass Lake. But you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I agree with you, and believe me, I've talked to Tracy about this. The sand is not a big deal. Is my understanding. What is a big deal is excavating everything to be able to put new sand in. That's where the expenses start. I mean, we definitely want to do this, and we've talked about doing this. And, but this is another thing that's not gonna be cheap. It's gonna cost a lot of money, because somebody's gonna have to come in here, dredge all this out, clean it all out, take it away, and then bring in the sand. It's not.
And we did put some money in the budget next year for that.
Instead of not paying their yearly fee, I mean, I'm just saying, trade for trade.
Are we even allowed to do that?
No, we
That's something
decided-
that,
DNR might.
I know.
That is on the water. The DNR has a lot of control over what we can and cannot do
20 feet,
without permit.
20 feet from water bed.
Not when it comes to the weeds, because we already tried to get rid of the weeds.
Yeah,
Let me know.
it's a process, like everything
I've been
else,
through the process.
it's a process. But yeah, we certainly want to improve the sand at the beach, make it look better and feel better. And, but again, bear with us, everything costs a lot of money.
3 years ago, we did price out a beach groomer to do that, but we had other expenses that came up in the campground that we had to take care of, like the electrical and the things that happen in the back. So that was something that we want to address. So we do want to have the funds to do that. So a beach groomer that would maintain the beach is something that is doable. I think 3 years ago, when we got an estimate, it was about $7,900. So that's something that we would like to be able to do and keep that would help keep the beach clean, keep the glass out of the beach and some other things as well.
I just have kind of a question, suggestion. I have several patients that live in Stark County. And they've told me, you know, when I've said, oh, I can't, they'll say, we don't go there, then the sand's nasty.
Yep.
Is there any way that the county or the beach or could hold fundraisers? To where, hey, we're gonna do this fundraiser to replace the sand at the beach, have a band, have a car show. You know, things like that, you know, to be able to help out. You know, we would all be willing to pitch in for that because it's good for everybody, but it was just a suggestion that maybe we could do some type of fundraisers or things like that for just that purpose.
Sounds great.
You're in charge.
Yeah.
He's a cheerleader, I'm a cheer coach, so believe me, I can fundraise like nobody.
Sounds great.
But I just want to ask one question. The people that want to be on this group to meet with Rick and Carl after the meeting, can we just get together and share email addresses so that everybody can communicate and coordinate?
Sure. Okay, anybody got anything else? Well, thank you for all your input. We appreciate it.
We appreciate you listening. I feel tonight like we actually came to a little bit of
Bonded.
a meeting of my
We
bonded a little. But I am open to fundraising. If you want to fundraise, let me know.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a
All
second?
right.
I had about 40 phone calls.
All in favor? We're adjourned. Thank you. Colin, for coming. I appreciate it. You want to do that?
No problem. That's right. I know that too.